It's just Bruce, he don't bite. Hello.
Hey folks, welcome to my kitchen. My name's Bruce. Probably know that by now. If not, check out some of the other videos and see what I'm up to. This was not supposed to be the original intro to this video. Apparently, me being back to work as a chef, I'm getting twitchy. I came home today from catering and I had like 3 Red Bulls in me, so I wanted to do this video for everybody because I wanted to cook it for my wife for dinner. And what we're making today is a really nice tuna casserole. Very simple, very cheap, basically. But I did the intro, and I was so wired up on Red Bull that I was twitchy, and I watched it, and I wasn't happy with it. I'm like, I'm not going to put that up there. Even I couldn't understand what I was saying. I was talking so fast. So basically, what I'm going to show you today in this video is how to make a really, really good tuna casserole. I made this the other day for the restaurant that I work at, and I made a double batch. It was supposed to last 2 days. They ate it up. I sold out in 4 hours, all of it, and it was a lot. So, and I like it too. Tuna casserole, it's kind of dated. It's a 70s, 80s dish. Not a lot of people make it anymore, but I like it. And the problem, and I'm thinking at home here, my wife over COVID, she just kept buying canned goods, so we would always have something to eat on the fly. And we had so many cans of tuna, so I'm like, I'm gonna make tuna casserole, and I'm going to make a video about it real quick too, but you can tell this video is a little rushed, but you know what, better to be rushed than long-winded. So let's get into it. I'm going to start where I started reading the ingredients off. So if I'm talking a little fast, just remember I had a really busy day and I came home and I was just I'm sure everybody's had days like that, especially in the food industry. Anyway, enjoy the video and I'll see you at the end. Anyway, let's get started. I'm going to show you what goes in it, and we're going to walk you through step by step. I've actually already done, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but I've already done all my prep work because I hate whenever I get in the middle of something and look for an ingredient that I don't have. Then I find out I'm out, and then I'm screwed. So I did all the prep work already, so we're ready to go, and let's get started. I'll show you what we got. As you can see, I've already done my egg noodles. That was a 16-ounce package of egg noodles, but I only need 12 ounces of it. So I don't know why they put 16 ounces packages and all the recipes call for 12 ounces. Makes no sense to me, but that's the first thing you're going to need. After that, it's easy. You probably have most of the stuff laying around the house. You can see I already did all the prep work and laid everything out nice and neat, almost like I know what I'm doing. So I got over there 3 tablespoons of butter, a white onion that I diced up in the food processor. I like to dice it up real fine because I don't like the big chunks of onion in my tuna salad. It's just my own personal preferences, but you can make the chunks as big as you want. I got 4 tablespoons all-purpose flour, 4 cloves of garlic minced up. I got a cup of heavy cream, 4 to 6 ounce cans. 4 6-ounce cans of tuna, preferably in water. If you have the tuna in oil, you're going to want to drain it, and I like to rinse it off just to get that oil out of there. I just don't like it. I got a cup of shredded cheddar cheese there, and I got a cup of, well, I wanted to use Monterey Jack. They didn't have Monterey Jack, so that's actually a Colby Jack mixture, but it'll do just as fine. You can just use cheddar if you want. And then I got a bunch of Ritz crackers. I took a tube of Ritz crackers, and I ran them through my food processor, and my breadcrumbs out of it, and we're going to show you how to use that in a little bit later. And you're going to need a little bit of olive oil, and that's all you're really going to need, so let's get started. So before we begin, you want to get a 9x13 baking pan. This is a glass one. You can use a metal if you want to. And of course you want to put some cooking spray on that. So we're just going to spray that and we're going to set it aside. It's ready for us. I'll put that over here. And then of course you're going to want to preheat your oven to 400. There you go, 400 degrees preheated oven. Now we get to cook. I'm going to put my pan on high. Grab me a utensil here. I'm not too prepared today, am I? First thing we're going to put in is, I'm going to set the garlic aside. We're going to put in our butter and onions. Let's put them all in your pan. You can use a pot like I'm using. You can use a Dutch oven. Any pot will do, really. And we're going to melt that butter and onion and cook that for a little bit. Now my onions have started to sizzle a little bit, so I turned my heat down to medium. And all we want to do is get these onions and this butter melted till the onions are translucent. And what that means is you can almost see through them. There's a peeling in there. So we're going to let that cook for another minute. You can see how it's coming along there on the camera. I'll skip through this part. Okay, it's been a couple minutes and you can see my onions are cooked down a little bit. Now's when I like to add my salt and pepper. So I'm going to put about a half a teaspoon of pepper in there. I like the fancy grinders. A little bit of sea salt. You can use table salt if you want to. And also now's the time to put our 4 cloves of garlic plop right in the middle. You don't want to put them in earlier than this because garlic burns easily. So we're just going to stir that around. Just until you can smell the butter, onion, and you start smelling. As soon as you start smelling that garlic, you know you're ready. And that's just about ready on that. The next step is our flour. We're going to sprinkle our flour all over what we got going on. Don't dump it in the middle because it'll get lumpy. I added about half of it, and that was 4 tablespoons. We're just going to cook that down, making a roux. And this is what's going to thicken us up later on. But I want all 4 tablespoons in there eventually. And it'll turn your onions and butter and garlic into a paste. You can see that in there. And you get all that flour incorporated into your little paste there. And you'll smell that start to cook a little bit. You still smell the garlic and almost like a pizza crust type of smell, I like to say. When I'm making roux, it almost smells like a pizza crust. And that's that. We're going to add our 2 cups of chicken broth now. A little bit in first. Your chicken broth should be cold. You want cold chicken broth. That'll eliminate any lumps. So if you're using a cold chicken broth on a hot roux, it will mix better. I don't understand the science behind it, but that's how it works. I'm just going to get that started. I'm going to dump the rest of my chicken broth in there. Incorporate that in. I'll tell you what I like to do. I don't like using a spoon for this, so I'm going to switch to a wire whisk. And we're just going to mix that up real good. Mix it up, get all my lumps out of it. This is really good for breaking up lumps too, because they do seem to have a few in it. Don't mistake your onions for lumps though. You can mix them till you're blue in the face. They ain't going nowhere. Now we're going to raise our heat a little bit. I want that to come to almost a boil, and it will start to thicken up. We'll skip through a minute to do that. Okay, it's been about 2 minutes, and you see it's getting nice and thick. Now's when I want to add my heavy cream. I've got a cup of heavy cream here. Mix that right in there. We add this last because it's like garlic, it can burn. Now we got to stir it constantly. Stir, 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 stir. We're going to heat that up. It won't take too long because my chicken base is already pretty hot. And I just want to keep stirring it until it gets hot. I want it hot enough to melt my cheese because that's our next ingredient. I'll skip through this one. Okay, it's been about another 2 minutes. And this is starting to thicken up nicely. You don't want it too thick because remember, all this moisture is going to go into your noodles. So if you think it's too thin, you're probably just right. So I'm going to set my whisk aside, and now we're going to add the cheese in. Switching back to my wooden spoon because it's hard to mix cheese in with your whisk. So I just like to fold it in with my spoon. And you see that's nice and hot. It's melting that cheese right away. This won't take long at all. I have the heat, I turned it down to medium. I don't really need the heat anymore. It's just kind of there to keep it warm enough to melt my cheese. After I got my cheese in there, it's time for our tuna. Which you can see I grained 4 cans of tuna. This tuna wasn't the best tuna you can get. I mean, if I were you, I would get the one-piece albacore tuna. But this is going to do for home. Like I said, my wife bought all this over COVID, and we got to find some interesting way to use it. That's my tuna, and then guess what's next? Our pasta. Like I said, this is 12 ounces of pasta. I want to go ahead and throw it in there. I'm only going to put half in for now. Because I don't know, I just feel when I look at this, I feel like I might have made too much. And I have a habit of doing that a lot. So this is about half my pasta. And honestly, I think it's going to be just fine. I'm going to fold that in. Make sure all the cheese gets off. In fact, right now I could turn my heat off. That way I don't have any accidents burning anything. I need a hot mitt. Okay, hot mitt. There we go. Yeah, I think, you know what? I actually only used half my pasta, and I think that's going to be just fine. Fold it in there nicely. My heat's off. Now we're going to move it to the pan and get it baked. Like I said, we got our glass pan here all sprayed, ready to go. I'm just going to pour my mixture in there. Ooh, it smells good too. Smells good. Now, some people put cream of mushroom soup in here, a can of cream of mushroom, they put mushrooms. Some people like to put peas in theirs. I don't like peas. I hate peas. So I don't use them. This is what you get. Just a very simple tuna casserole. You can put veggies in. You can make it whatever you want. But this is the way I like it. So that's the good thing about cooking. Nobody's wrong. Do what you like. Do what makes you happy. Now I'm going to show you what to do with the breadcrumbs we were talking about. We want the breadcrumbs to crisp on top. And of course, these aren't breadcrumbs. It's Ritz crackers, which is great. You can use that. Any kind of cracker crumb will work. I just think these taste better because they're buttery. I'm putting a little olive oil on top of this. Just a little drizzle. If you can see that on camera, it's not picking up too good. Then I'm just going to give it a mix with my fingers. There's nothing else in here but Ritz crackers and a little bit of olive oil. And we're just going to spread it on top. Just like that. If you like a heavier crust, you can load it on. If you like a lighter crust, I wouldn't recommend doing no crust at all. I mean, this is part of the fun. Whip it down the sides. Cover it up best you can. And there we have that. One more step, and then we go in the oven. Parmesan cheese. I'm just going to sprinkle some of that on top. Just like this. And that's it. It is ready to go in the oven. Let's put this in the oven at 400 degrees for about, I'm going to say 20 minutes. Do that right now here. Right in the center. You don't got to cover it or nothing. I'll see you in 20 minutes. Well, here we are 20 minutes later out of the oven. Like I said, it was 400 degrees. You can see the top's nice and brown now with those breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese on there. We're going to let that cool for a little bit before we dig into it, and then we're going to do our taste test. I don't know about you, but I'm hungry. We're going to take a little bit out of the corner here. It's not quite set up enough. I should leave it to sit for about 10 minutes, but like I said, I'm really hungry. Put that on my plate. Look at the cheese coming off of it. Oh, it smells really good. Alright, let's have a taste of this. Here it is close up. Now you might be wondering, why don't I just get a bag of tuna helper and make that? Because this is much, much better. Anything made fresh is going to be better than some cheap seasoned packet. Alright, let's taste this. So here it is. I just took a small portion for myself because my wife's on her way home from work and I'm going to want to sit down and have a dinner with her. It's funny. I got out of being a chef, a cook out of the cooking world for a couple of years, about 2-3 years, and I forgot what it's like when you are a chef. When you're a chef or a line cook or anybody in the food industry, most of the food you eat is actually going to be over the garbage can or over a sink. You don't actually get to sit down and have your dinner like a normal person would. So just something to think about next time you see a chef eating a sample over a sink or, you know, over the garbage can to catch the crumbs. Tonight I'm going to try to sit down and have a nice dinner with my wife, but I want to do this taste test for the end of the video, and let's do it. Tuna casserole. It's got a nice little crunch to it from the top. I can taste the tuna coming through, the cheese. Like I said, I don't put peas in mine. Most people do. Some people will throw a can of cream of mushroom soup in there. I don't like that, but this is fine just standing on its own. Cheesy tuna noodle casserole. Hope you're making it home. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. And it's a very easy dish to make. And we'll catch you next time.
I like them French fried potatoes. Mm-hmm.